Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Bioscience Lessons. In this video we will be discussing about classification of lipids. Lipids are classified into 4 groups: simple lipid, compound lipid, derived lipid and miscellaneous lipid. Initially lipids were classified by a scientist named Bloor and which was further modified, and lipids are classified into 4 groups. They are simple lipid, compound lipid or complex lipid. Third is derived lipid. Fourth is miscellaneous lipid. At first we will discuss about simple lipid. Simple lipid are the esters of fatty acid with alcohol. So simple lipids are the esters of fatty acid with alcohol. In this, fatty acid will combine with alcohol by ester bond. So alcohol combines with fatty acid by ester bond. Simple lipids are of 2 types. First is triacylglycerol. This triacylglycerol is also called as neutral fats, or short form is triacylglycerol, or TG we can write. These triacylglycerols are the triester of fatty acid with glycerol. So glycerol is the alcohol in this triacylglycerol. This is the alcohol. This glycerol is trihydric alcohol because of the presence of 3 OH group in this glycerol. So this is the structure of glycerol: CH2, OH, CHOH, CH2, OH. This is a glycerol. It consists of 3 carbon, 1, 2 and 3, and it contains 3 OH group. It combines with 3 fatty acid. Either fatty acid can be same type or different type. We can write general formula as RCOOH. We can write as R1, R2, COOH, R3, COOH. So 3 fatty acids are there. So 3 fatty acids will combine with glycerol. These 3 fatty acids can be of same type or different type, and this hydrogen and this OH group will combine and it will release 3 water molecules from 3 fatty acids and it will form triacylglycerol. That structure will be something like this: CH2O. This O came from this OH, and then C double bond O, R1, C double bond O, this came from this CO, and this R1 is here. Similarly, second fatty acid will also combine with the second carbon, and third fatty acid will also combine with the third carbon. This is the ester bond. So 3 ester bonds are formed here and here. That's why it's called triester. These triacylglycerol are also called as neutral fats because it does not contain any charge. So net charge is 0. So simple lipids are of 2 types: triacylglycerol or neutral fats, and second one is wax. Wax are also esters of fatty acid with higher monohydric fatty alcohol. So wax is also a ester of fatty acid but with higher monohydric aliphatic alcohol. This monohydric means in glycerol 3 hydroxyl group was present, but here only one OH group will be present, and in glycerol we have seen only 3 carbon was present, but it will be more than 3 carbon aliphatic alcohol. Waxes are also of two types. First is true wax. This true wax is ester of fatty acid with higher alcohol, for example cetyl alcohol. Its general formula is carbon 16H33OH. So one OH is present, that's why it's called monohydric, and you can see 16 carbon atoms are present, so it is a higher alcohol. So true wax are esters of fatty acid with higher alcohol. There is another category of wax called as cholesterol esters. Here cholesterol combines with fatty acid to form cholesterol ester. Cholesterol itself is a derived lipid. This fatty acid is also a derived lipid. Why it is called derived lipid? Because when cholesterol ester get hydrolyzed, it produces cholesterol and fatty acids. That's why they are called derived lipid. Cholesterol ester is a simple lipid. This is the diagram of cholesterol. You can see there are 4 ring structure, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is called steroid nucleus, and this side chain is hydrocarbon side chain, and this 3 carbon we have OH group, the cholesterol. So from here to this end it is totally non-polar in nature, and because of this OH it is polar in nature. Because of this, cholesterol is a amphiphilic lipid. Second diagram is a diagram of cholesterol ester. In this cholesterol third carbon fatty acid will be attached to the cholesterol and it becomes totally non-polar in nature. This cholesterol, because of the presence of this OH group, this cannot be easily transported in the blood, because for the transport of lipid, lipoprotein carrier molecule is used. When it is in free form cholesterol, when the cholesterol contains OH group, that time this cholesterol can only combine with lipoprotein in the outer surface of the lipoprotein. So only less amount of cholesterol can be transported in blood. But when cholesterol forms cholesterol esters, that time it is totally non-polar, so this can go inside of the lipoprotein and more cholesterol can be transported through the blood. Because of this, cholesterol esters are formed in the body. So cholesterol ester is a type of simple lipid. Similarly, we have vitamin D and vitamin A esters. This vitamin D and vitamin A are also derived lipid, and when this with vitamin A and vitamin D combines with fatty acid like stearic acid or palmitic acid, then it forms esters of vitamin A and vitamin D. Next we have second group of lipid, which is called compound lipid. This compound lipid is also called as complex lipid. These are also esters of fatty acid with alcohol, plus they contain other group also. So we have fatty acid that will combine with alcohol, plus it can contain other group. This other group can be a phosphoric acid, or it can be a carbohydrate, it can be a protein, it can be a sulfate group. etc. So depending upon the type of other group, compound lipid can be of various type. For example, first we have phospholipid. This phospholipid will be consist of alcohol plus it will contain fatty acid, along with phosphate group will be present and nitrogenous base will be present. Then depending upon the alcohol, this phospholipid can be of two types. First one is glycerophospholipid. In this alcohol group is glycerol. It will combine with fatty acid plus phosphoric acid along with nitrogenous base. So here alcohol is glycerol. Examples are like cephalin, lecithin. There is another group of phospholipid called sphingophospholipid. Sphingophospholipid, in this alcohol will be sphingosine, and then same fatty acid will combine along with phosphate group and nitrogenous base. Here sphingosine is the alcohol. Its example are sphingomyelin. Sphingomyelin is present in the myelin sheet of neuron. There is another group of compound lipid called glycolipid. Alcohol will be present along with fatty acid plus carbohydrate will be present along with nitrogenous base is present. So glycolipid is consist of alcohol plus fatty acid, carbohydrate and nitrogenous base. From this carbohydrate only this glyco word has came, and sphingosine is the alcohol present in glycolipid. No phosphate group and no glycerol is present in glycolipid. Examples are cerebrosides, gangliosides. We have another group of compound lipid called lipoprotein. In this, lipids will combine with protein. This is a type of compound lipid, and lipoproteins are basically involved in transport of lipid across the membrane. There are 5 classes of lipoprotein called chylomicron, VLDL, LDL, HDL, and free fatty acids that will combine with albumin. So there are 5 classes of lipoprotein, and these lipoproteins are involved in transport of lipid. We will have separate video. And there is one more group of compound lipid that's called other complex lipid. It contains sulfolipid. Lipid that contains sulfate group is called sulfolipid. Then aminolipid contains amino group. Then lipopolysaccharide, lipid that contains polysaccharide. Lipid that combines with polysaccharide, that is called lipopolysaccharide. So there are 4 groups of compound lipid. First phospholipid, then glycerolipid, lipoprotein and other complex lipid. Third group of lipid is derived lipid. Derived lipids are obtained by the hydrolysis of group 1 and group 2 lipids, that is simple and compound lipid when it undergo hydrolysis, and the products obtained are called as derived lipid. For example, we have triglyceride that will undergo hydrolysis to form fatty acid and glycerol. This fatty acid is also a derived lipid. This glycerol is also derived lipid. When triglyceride is first hydrolyzed, it forms diacyl glycerol plus fatty acid. Then this diacyl glycerol is further hydrolyzed to form monoacyl glycerol and fatty acid is released. Here first fatty acid is released, then second fatty acid will be released, and this monoacyl glycerol will further undergo hydrolysis to form glycerol and acid. So all these fatty acids are derived lipid. Monoacyl is also a derived lipid. Monoacyl glycerol is also a derived lipid. Glycerol is also a derived lipid. Similarly, we have cholesterol esters. These are simple lipid. When it undergo hydrolysis, it produces cholesterol plus fatty acid. This cholesterol is also a derived lipid. Fatty acid always is derived lipid. Similarly, we have vitamin D and vitamin A esters, which undergo hydrolysis to produce vitamin A or vitamin D plus fatty acid. This vitamin A and vitamin D is also a derived lipid, and this fatty acid is also a derived lipid. Similarly, we have wax. When it undergo hydrolysis, it produces cetyl alcohol along with fatty acid. The cetyl alcohol is also a derived lipid. So derived lipids are produced when group 1, that is simple lipid, and then compound lipid undergo hydrolysis, and they produce substances which possess the characteristics of lipid. These are called derived lipids. Next, fourth group of lipid is miscellaneous lipid. Lipids which were not classified under group 1, that is simple lipid, group 2 complex lipid, and group 3 derived lipid. They are classified in the miscellaneous lipid, and these are the substances which possess the characteristics of lipid. Example, we have carotenoids. These carotenoids are lipid soluble pigment which is synthesized in plants, algae, bacteria, fungi, and they have antioxidant properties in them. They are lipophilic in nature because of the presence of long unsaturated aliphatic chain of fatty acids. So these contain fatty acid chain. Because of this, they are lipophilic in nature. So they are categorized under miscellaneous lipids. Next, we have squalene. Squalene contains hydrocarbon chain, and because of this hydrocarbon chain, they are lipophilic in nature. Next, we have terpene. Terpene is a lipid which is soluble in organic solvent, and they are basically synthesized from acetyl CoA. These are organic compounds, and they contain isoprene unit, that is carbon 5 and hydrogen 8 atoms. Because of the presence of hydrocarbon chain, they are lipophilic in nature. So they are categorized under miscellaneous lipid. We have vitamin E and vitamin K. They are also fat soluble vitamin, and they are categorized under miscellaneous lipid. So that's it for the video. Hope you like this video. In the next video, we will see about fatty acids.